Welcome to the Professor Slots Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. John Friedel. Although I have a PhD, please call me John. I help slots enthusiasts improve their gambling performance with next-level tactics and strategies. Want to accelerate your slots journey? Be more profitable and understand casinos better to take advantage of them? I have over a decade of experience working with slots enthusiasts just like you, so you're in the right place. In case you missed it, on my last episode, I went over loss limits and had a wonderful conversation with Kathy. I hope you enjoyed listening to my last episode as much as I enjoyed making it for you. Today's episode number 163 includes my conversation with Irving from Las Vegas. Improve your slots play with my 30 days to play slots smarter and win. You get lifetime access, a free copy of my book, Learning to Win, and spreadsheet templates for slots record keeping for income tax preparation purposes and gameplay analysis. Plus, 1 month free membership to my Slots Enthusiast Growth Network, where you'll get community support and accountability. 30 days to play slots smarter and win is discounted at 50% off for a $100 savings. Be sure to use that discount before it goes away. Visit ProfessorSlots.com/30 days to learn more about this well-received course, including a full description of its contents as well as testimonials. For your convenience, that website link is in the episode description. Next up is my conversation with Irving, who talked with me, with us, about his love of high-limit slots. I'll talk to you afterwards, so stick around. In the meantime, enjoy. Hello, podcast listener. We are here with Irving. Irving is in Las Vegas. Tell us about where you're at.
So I live here locally. I was actually born and raised. I'm actually in, I don't know if they would call it a suburb, but a part of Vegas. It's called Summerlin.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. So that's, it's kind of more
Rampart Casino?
Exactly. Okay. Not too far from me. Red Rock, Rampart. Yeah. So, like basically, I guess before, when Howard Hughes still had all of Vegas, this was all the land that he acquired, before it was all built up pretty big. So, yeah.
History lesson. Awesome.
Yeah, I guess so. So, yeah. Other than, it's, like I said, it's more on the west side. And, I like this side of town a lot better than the others, other parts. I was born and raised here, and I've been back now since out of college since 2011. So, yeah.
Okay.
I enjoy it very much.
Everybody should enjoy their hometown, or at least that's the hope. Anyway, I won't tell you my hometown. Well, my hometown is Flint, Michigan. It's like Detroit, only bad. So that's I have some experience with Michigan. I used to go. I attended college in Madison at UW-Madison. Huh.
So yeah, and I have family in northern Wisconsin and Minnesota. So I used to go skiing in Wisconsin or in Michigan, and the ski brule like Iron Mountain or Iron River.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you know it good.
Well, I hardly saw any part of Michigan until after I left. But yes, Iron Mountain, sure. That's nice. Yeah. And okay, so tell us a little bit about your slots experience. When did you start? When did you meet me? So I started watching your content, your videos and everything like that. And, over probably about 2 years ago, maybe a little less than that. And as I've seen, you weren't as, I don't want to say together back then as you are now. An early fan. Yes. Podcast listener, please don't go back to episode 1. People say, "Oh, John, you've come so far."
This is true, but it wasn't. It's not like you were in the Stone Age or anything like that. It was all very together, and So before I started watching your content and actually educating myself, I was, I guess, just throwing money in a machine, and because that's all I play is slots. Okay. I don't play tables or anything like that. I have, but it's just not my thing. So slots is, when you had all your content on there and I was able to educate myself with that, I only had hit 3 jackpots in my entire life before I started watching your content. Okay. Last year when Vegas was closed down and then they reopened, between the month of January and the month of May, I had hit 73 jackpots. Okay. in that amount of time. In the month of March, I hit at least one every single day, except for the 19th and the 22nd. On the 31st, I hit 3 within 45 minutes of each other.
It's something when that happens, isn't it? I've experienced that, and it's a normal sort of thing that happens when everything comes together. It still feels like, just my experience was, it still feels like gambling, but it also feels like, do I leave now? Oh, no, here's another one. Okay, maybe now. No, there's another one. Because when I understand that when you say 3 jackpots in 45 minutes, that includes the time spent with them going and getting the money and you waiting for it. So it's really only like 15 minutes.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, but before watching your content, I was just throwing money in a machine, basically just throwing it in and just, hoping for the best. You know what I mean? And with now I put $100 bill in the machine, or a ticket, a voucher, whatever, and I most likely I feel like like it's not throwing money in a machine anymore and just hoping for the best. I feel it, like you said, it's still gambling, but I do feel like the odds are more in my favor. You know what I mean? Even though, maybe that's not the best choice.
Yeah, it's hard to find the right way to say this, isn't it?
Yeah. With your strategies and everything, it's the odds are better in my favor than they were versus before I found your content. That's a fair way to put it, I guess.
So you play high limit slots or not high limit slots, or a mix?
It took me a while to as I was hitting those jackpots and more, even after I was over the $75,000 mark, in winnings, it still took me a while to go into the high limit room and wager a $25 a spin type of thing. Now it's no problem. You know what I mean? Now, it's just normal to me now. Basically, it took me. I went to the Paris one night, and I went with my sister, who's actually legally blind, and she likes to gamble, and so we went there, and it was pretty much dead. And we went in the high limit room. It was probably it was probably 1 or 2 in the morning. But when we were in there, we were playing. She was playing a pinball and the King of Cash machine. Okay, $5 denomination, 3 credits at a time. And she hit the King of Cash. She hit that jackpot, or not the jackpot. She hit the bonus like 4 times within 20 minutes, and each time it was a jackpot. So and that was just amazing to me. So I hopped on the machine right next to her, which was the pinball one, and I hit. I don't know if it was 2 or 3 hand pays, but at the end of the night, between both of us, we had won over $30,000. Between and she had never hit nothing like that before. And she's actually, and with that money that she won, she actually purchased your 30 days to play slot smarter. She purchased that for me as a gift. And since I've done that, since I've been doing that course, I've seen my slot performance even, it's even gone up, even from what it was before, which I thought was great, just watching your YouTube videos and, your 5 spin method. That's pretty much the key to everything for me.
In Las Vegas, in Las Vegas. Yeah, they all decided to do it. Other places,
a lot of them.
Yeah, a lot of them.
There's a lot that don't.
Yeah, that's true. Outside of Las Vegas, it's more like 1 in 4. And
that's what it said.
Yeah.
I think it's more like maybe 3 and 4 here.
Yeah, it's kind of like flipped. Yeah.
But then it took me a while. I was missing the point though. That's a big strategy right there. But I was just thinking, I was starting to think that, okay, so I've tested the casino, they offered taste. Now, no matter what time I go there, no matter what, I'm always going to get taste. You know what I mean? And that's
not true. That's not true.
No,
yeah,
no. And it took me till she purchased, my sister purchased a course for me to figure out that. So, and if I would have known that sooner, and if I would have just took the time and purchased your, your thing myself, but of course me, hard-headed, thinking I know it all, I'm starting to win, 73 jackpots or 77, whatever. After I got over the $100,000 mark of profit, it was just, it just all went to my head. You know what I mean?
It happens for some people with a lot less than that.
Yeah. Well, I'm only 32. You know what I mean? I just hit 30. So, I mean, this all is a big, has been a big, turnaround for me between, 28 and 30 years old. If I would have been 21, who knows? You know what I mean? Maybe it would have took me maybe 5 years to get to even, or even take the first lesson on the course, but that's what you're doing. What you're doing is such a, it's such a, a benefit. And I just, really, I just applaud you, Professor, because there's really nothing out there, you know what I mean, for people to educate themselves or anything. And before I started taking your lessons, I didn't know anything. You know what I mean?
Well, I would have started at a higher level if there had been anybody, because I would have started where they were. Those first podcast episodes, those first videos, I took down most of my 2018 stuff because it wasn't very helpful. I was using, I created a website, I created articles on it, I created this podcast. And, I think the first thing was I wrote a book, and the last thing I did was YouTube. And that's completely the wrong order.
That's true. But I mean, at least you got your content out there.
Yeah.
And you're starting to hit a much wider range of audience, and I don't know, and you've basically you figured it out, pretty much.
Yeah.
I know that you're not I know that, like with Brian Christopher, he does a totally different thing. There's no education, it's just live play.
Yeah, no, what I mean? Yeah. There's starting to be some imitators. Hey, the Professor Slot's 5 spin method. I might have to calm my dog down.
Oh, that's no problem.
Yeah.
Is there a way for you to like the 5 spin method? Can't you get a patent on that? Or no?
Well, actually, it wasn't my invention. I saw a slot attendant. Calm down. I saw a slot attendant. I talked to a slot attendant in my local casino, and I said, "Hey, what's going on? Have you seen any jackpots?" The usual conversation I like to have. And they said, "Yeah, we saw a guy just go right down the row and win hand pays in the high limit room at Belterra Park." And I'm like, I couldn't believe it. And I, kind of went home and I thought about it. And then I came in and I'm like, I was hesitant. I had begun to believe it, but I was just like, are they going to put me in jail if I, do the same thing? Is this kind of like stealing? Am I going to get in trouble? It's worth thinking about it for like a minute. and then I proceeded to just go up and down rows and win. I wish my hesitation hadn't happened. It was actually several months of hesitation. And all through that time, the casino was lowering how much they actually gave as winnings. Because they were just losing money. And so they're like, not that, not over $10,000, wins. And then after a while, it's like, not over $5,000 wins. And then a couple months after that, it was like, well, definitely a hand pay, but
not too much more.
Yeah, and 18 months later, I was like, well, $500 is a lot. I guess. It's like a car payment, I suppose. But I do miss the days when it was so much more. But
Yeah.
I just it's okay. It's okay. $500 is a fine return. Trying to console myself.
It's not a hand pay. You don't get to walk out that magic
Not
piece of
anymore.
paper.
Good old
No.
days.
Yeah, not too many. But it's funny because you say that, and it's pretty much the same thing out here too in Vegas. Like between I'll just take that same period of time that I was talking about last year between January and May. I hit one for $40,000. That was the biggest one I hit. That was the first time I had ever gone into the high limit room. Okay. The first time ever. And that I wish it would have not have been the first time, because I spent a lot of money after that, trying to get that same win, and it just didn't happen. But I was playing double bonus, video poker, $50 a spin, and it dealt me the royal. And I yelled so loud. There was only one other person in the room with me, and I yelled so loud the guy actually fell out of his chair and he broke his hip.
Oh no!
I felt very bad, very, very bad. And when the ambulance came and got him in the stretcher and everything and took him out, they had paid me by that time. And so I went over there and I gave him $500, and he took the money and he threw it at me. He was from another country because he didn't speak the language, but he was, cursing at me in another language. I don't know what it was.
That's
I felt
sad.
very, very bad about it. Yeah, but I mean, I don't think I've ever yelled that loud ever. But I knew when the cards came up, and they almost came up in sequential order, with the exception of the 10 and the jack. But I mean, right when I saw all the suits and, those 5 cards, I mean, I knew it, right away. And I mean, all the rest is history.
Yeah. Congratulations. We all have these experiences from gaming that some of them we have to live with. Some of them we lose most of it, and because I won $27,000 there was a 6-month period or 9-month period where I won 90 hand pays, and I won 54 of them in the first 6 weeks of that. At the end of it, I won a car, but at the beginning, I had won a $5,000 jackpot, I think 2 or 3 times. And then I won $27,000. And I'm like, I thought I was ready, and I am definitely not.
Yeah.
And, when you start winning, and not everybody wins this much, but I mean, if you go in with $100 and you win, one of the machines I was playing was a $2.50 bet, and a few days afterwards, about a couple of weeks ago, at Firekeepers in Michigan, they won $19,900 on a $2.50 bet on the third push of the button.
Wow.
And my fan Jason was next to them, and there had been some going back and forth, and it was explaining the 5-pull method and all that. And then they won that, and they were kind enough to tip Jason $100 and said, please give half of this to Professor Slots. And so he did it. He did that on the live stream, and that was, I appreciated that very much. But these big wins, once you start winning, you have to learn a new thing, how to get out. Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to ask you about these wins are you are getting out with your monies. How's that going?
So for the most part, now I am, now I am with all of it pretty much. But back then, so when the last time that we had our chat, our interview about a year ago, I was up to a little over 70,000, and about 30,000 of that was profit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I remember that, and that was a paid consultation. Which I have those, but I'm working on other things, so not many people know about it, but people have also used it and had some value. So maybe sometime I'll post what that is. But I remember the numbers from back then. So how's it been going since?
So now since then, so I know the exact numbers. So because I just filed my taxes not too long ago.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, and those spreadsheets that I got from you, those were really helpful, and I'm glad I took advantage of it. I wasn't hard. I didn't take that, and it wasn't, stubborn about that and not recording that. With some of the machine numbers and everything like that, I kind of went back and tweaked that a little bit, and everything. But as far as turning it in with my win-loss statements and all that, that was very helpful. But all of 2021, I cashed in at a total of 176,000 and change, but only 63,000 of that was profit.
Which is about right.
Yeah.
We talked about the percent returns.
Yeah, if I would have, like I said, if I would have, took to heart a little bit of more of your content and took your course a little bit sooner, I think I probably would have got a little bit, maybe over the $100,000 mark. But I mean, there's no way to tell. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I mean, I know that I spent a good close to, after I got that $40,000 win, I spent probably, a good 15 of that, just chasing it, 15 or 20 over a 30-day period. I'm not going to lie or, anything about that. I'm just going to be upfront about it.
Well, it's the way I look at it is it's a valuable learning experience. And you even know how much value it is. You even know how much it costs to learn what you learned because of that. And it has that dollar value, if assuming that you learned the lesson, and it sounds like you have, how much did you save later? The estimate for the value of that learning, it's hard. I immediately feel bad. Back when I used to chase wins, because it happened to me, I know what that's like. But I even like, it was 4:30 and 5:10 in the morning on a Tuesday, and I was just like, I gotta go to work or something. And it was very, very surreal. And that's not the best environment in order to chase a win.
Yeah, my mom, she said it was the worst thing that ever happened to me was winning all those jackpots like that, because she said, because for a while, because like you told, when we had the paid consultation, you told, I asked you, why do you think that it happened like that? And then after May, I wasn't hitting like that consistently. You know what I mean? I mean, there was weeks that went by and I wasn't hitting them day after day after day, every day. And then you see, pretty much the conclusion that that both of us came up with, and I've told people this, different, limo drivers, Lyft drivers, just different people that I interact with that, we talk about slots or anything, and they say, and they totally agree. But from what you said is that when Vegas closed down and then they reopened, the Nevada Gaming Commission, that governs the casinos, they have to hit those percentages of payback, and they're measured by the quarter. So when they reopened in the middle of the quarter, they had to, they pretty much just loosened everything right up so they could hit those numbers, pretty much. And then when the quarter was over, because then that must have been it. Like I said, the month of March, I hit one almost every single day. That was the end of the quarter right there, January, February, March. So that's it had to be that, because April really, really slowed down. Yeah. But like, just in the month of March, I hit 2/3 of the ones during that 5-month period. I hit 2/3 of them right in that month, in that month alone.
And that's the sort of thing that can be a positive experience, a positive revenue. You're finding something that works, and it's something that can happen on a normal basis, but you found the exception, right? You were there for that. And, it's past now. A lot of people aren't thinking about it. But when, I was having live streams every week and all the casinos closed. And people were like, well, are you going to have a live stream? And I'm like, instead of going to the casino, I started getting record numbers of people saying, "I'm not at a casino. Tell me about slots." And questions I got were, what happens when they reopen? Are they going to reopen? There's a lot of fear, and what happens? And so some of what I talked about was they'd have, a monthly report that has to be put out. It cannot be violated on the minimum that Nevada has, 75%. They usually average around 93%. But if they're only open a couple of days in the month because they can reopen and there's only a few days left of the month, what are they going to do? And they need to be compliant. And you took advantage of that.
Yeah.
Will it ever happen again? No. We're more experienced at pandemics, and so I think it's really doubtful, but that we would experience that again. But these are unique opportunities. It's like a casino opening for the first time, where previously it was a cornfield. They have to educate the locals on, come in, play slots. What's slots? Well, this is what happens, blah, blah, blah. And so they take the opportunity to teach people, hey, come in and win.
Yeah.
And it shows right there in the first year or month, depending on the casino. That's what they do. And then nothing for a very long time. And, the statistics just to show that. I don't get many views on my statistics. It's harkens back to my early days of what I presented in, poor and pastels, kind of, webcams that had low resolution, and my kind of like reading off a script and not looking into the camera, that sort of thing. But I show graphs and I'm like, these are so exciting.
Yeah, that's great. And it's great. It really is.
And everybody's like, no. And I'm like, but I have colors.
Because you're pretty much, I look at you as like, you're like a scientist, in a way, you know what I mean? You look at this and you take everything as you look at it and evaluate it as in a scientific approach. You know what I mean? And that's the best way to do it, because that's how you've, pretty much without doing that, I don't think that you would have been able to, come all this way, pretty much. Yeah. Because you look.
That's my training. That's where my training is at. I supplemented it with engineering, which helps in some regard to slots. I'm a physicist, and that's the kind of scientist I am, kind of research scientist that I am. And the engineering helps me because I had a budget. And research scientists have a budget, but it's not quite the same sort of, here's $2 million, make me an anti-lock brake system. And you have 6 months, and you can't not spend it. So sort of engineering aspect, the physicists have money too. But then I also got a business degree, which really taught me about compliance, reporting, accounting, that sort of thing. And I see all this in the casinos, and I'm like, apply these scientific method to all of this. Yes, it is an unbearable amount of time. I spent like 5 years as a hobby trying to have a business, and I recognize now in the last year that it's totally a hobby. You have to work harder at it. But I wrote an article in every state, then I rewrote those, and then I rewrote those, and I half rewrote them again, and now that's all a resource. I understand what's going on in every state, unless it happened 2 weeks ago, because I don't keep up on it quite that much. And Nevada gaming statistics, sure, that's wonderful. So these, what we're talking about is your slots journey, and what we're talking about is my slots journey. And then there's the podcast listener who has a slots journey, and we're trying to help them and demonstrate to them what's possible and where. Now, just to speak to the podcast listener, what you're doing, Irving, is looking at a particular casino or a few casinos, and that's very important. And you figured out, when you win and when you don't win, and you were winning a lot and losing a lot.
Yeah.
And then you removed a lot of the losing and kept the winning.
Yeah.
And that changed the ratio and your profits went up. And
Absolutely.
it might have been more, as you were saying, because what you're doing is you're thinking about it. Even now, you're on your slots journey. I think this April is going to be great all over, because I've been mentioning this in the live stream and other places. April is going to be great across the country because it's time.
Okay.
That's what the casinos are like. We made our money back and made our money back and made our money back and made our money back, and then just be safe, we made our money back.
Yeah.
and now they're like, and now they're right, record revenues. But now
it's out here in the paper. It's out in the Review Journal, the paper here in Las Vegas, every single day. At least once a week, almost. They're paying more money. They're making so much money. All the casinos out here, they're paying over $1 billion a month in tax. To the government. Yeah. That's how much income that they're making. I know they cleaned it up. From when the pandemic started. But like you said, it's time to turn the water back on, open the floodgates, and let everybody start winning again. Pretty much.
But as usual, towards May and June, it'll go back to being like, and this is when you don't win, and then it'll it's cycles of like 2 months each. November, December is great, and beginning of January, February, not so much, and it's kind of seasonal. But you don't, if you don't look up from your slot machine, just again speaking to the podcast listener, if you don't look up from your slot machine, you don't notice. And so this is how you learn to win, and then you learn to shut down when you lose and keep
Absolutely.
the winning, and that's the secret. Not particularly helpful if you don't know the rest. If you haven't had a course, or you haven't spent the time and watched every one of my videos since for 2 years like you have, but good.
Well, basically, to the everyone that's listening out there, it's a reality for everything that you've put out there, especially your course. If somebody just if they're just listening to this for the first time and they're listening to me and you talk, or they stumble upon one of your videos, if they purchase, if they make a $99 or $199, whatever the cost is for your course, if they make that investment and they take that course and they're serious about it, and they do this, the activities on there, and they draw up their map of the casino, how everything that you have.
Don't give it all away.
That's of course not. But they do that. There's it's actually a reality where they can take that course, they can hop on a plane, they can come to Vegas, and they actually can make some money coming here. You know what I mean? Just going to taking a walk down the Strip and finding when the jackpots are hitting, and different things like that, when all the stars align, pretty, so to speak, they can really come and they can really, take Vegas for some money, not no millions of dollars, but for the average person, it's a reality to come here and, take your course, and they could take home $50,000 with them when they brought, maybe 7,500 with them, or even, 2,500 with them. That's a reality.
Or 200 with them.
Exactly. You don't have to have a large bankroll. Yeah. I didn't have one when I first started. I would go and I might have, maybe $500 at the most that I could spend, and, like I said, pretty much all the stars aligned, and, I found your course, I found your content, and it just all made sense. And
you found casinos.
And if people stumble with it, which is, people are going to stumble with it, some of them, they can get a hold of you, and they can do a consultation with you. You know what I mean? And that'll make it, make it so much more sense for all of them to, do it that way. Yeah. Because it's just, people are always going to have questions, and they're going to want to, maybe, tweak this a little bit, or, how is this going to work? And
right. What about my special casino in my special state that has to do these sorts of things? You haven't talked about it much. Then, let's talk about it, because I want to try to talk about ideas that are common to everybody. And I might not mention, so you go to Deadwood and and the Dakotas and what's going on there. Well, we can talk about what's going on there, but I don't spread it widely. And there's a few things like that where it's I have so many videos that I need to do. I'm just like, well, there's 20. Okay. And there's a topic, and it's like, well, if you do like one topic per video, you can make, I wrote a book on these topics, and I'm like, if I made videos, that's like one video a page, 230 videos. Well, maybe I should prioritize which one comes first. And, and so that's part of the early days for me was, maybe I do this. But one of the main things that concern podcast listener and slots enthusiasts in general is they learn to win. They want to know how to learn to win. And they do. And then they need to know how to get out of the casino with it.
Oh yeah,
because it's like, oh, I have to do that. Oh, there's chasing wins. It's perfectly, fair to say people don't know this. It's fine that they don't know this. This is, how would they know this if they're not winning enough? They don't have practice, and they need practice. And
as long as you can learn from your mistakes, it's like, if, I kept losing and losing, but, after a while I had to take a step back and, just how everybody would. And as long as you're a person that can learn from their mistakes, and you're like Einstein says, someone that keeps doing the same thing over and over again and expects a different result, that's the definition of insanity. So basically, if you're not insane, and it could work for anybody,
Well, we're not making any judgments here. I lost your audio.
All right. I had a phone call coming in.
You're back.
I had it on airplane mode to begin with, but then I wouldn't be able to talk to you on airplane mode.
Right. I'll cut that part out. So my next question for you, we've talked about the past, we've talked about the current. What are your plans for the future? Are you done with college? And personally, what's your slots journey? Where's it headed?
So to really tell you the truth, I don't know. I still go. I don't play as much as I did last year, but because like I said, after they take your course and they see that, there's certain things, you can't just go all the time, if you want to win, and walk away with your winnings.
And this last 2 months 2.5 months has not been the best time anywhere.
No.
Yeah.
No, but like you said, you think April's going to be good. And, at my local casino that I go to, my favorite, the one that's right down the street from me, the closest, it's a Boyd gaming property. Okay. And, they every day this month almost, like you said, the jackpots, they have a little notification on their machine, on the slot machine, and when a jackpot's going off. There's no way that you can't know if you're walking to the casino or you're eating.
Somewhere in the casino, notification somewhere in the casino?
Oh, on every single slot machine. Like an alarm goes off and, the bells start ringing on you put your player's card in and the little, the touch screen down there, that's where it starts going off. And every machine makes the same noise.
But not, is it, okay, is it a jackpot on that machine or is it a jackpot in the casino somewhere?
Oh, no. It's a jackpot in the casino somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen that feature in like riverboat casinos, and sometimes they make an announcement over the intercom, and that sort of and it's great that you have this feature, because as from my videos and my course, listen for that. That's when you play. The hard part is finding something to do while you're waiting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So if they're not going off, so like now, if they're not going off, if I'm spending a half hour there, like today, before our interview now, I was there about an hour prior, and I was there for about 2 hours. And in the first half hour, only like 2 went off. And then the next like 90 minutes, one was going off like every 6 or 7 minutes, so, that's, and if you're not, so when that happens with me, if I'm not winning on a certain machine, or, it's starting to take my money back, then I just go jump on something else. Cause more than likely it's gonna, you're going to have better luck there. And especially if it's on the, the main walkway or, something like that. But, it's, Professor, pretty much, I was, like I said before I found all your content and started educating myself, I was just throwing money in the machine and just hoping for the best. But, now I'm going to be able, or now I've learned about comps and everything, all the, benefits that come with your using a reward, the player's card. And I actually got one of the prizes for having the top tier status with Boyd is you can get a luxury car for a year, a paid lease. So I took advantage of that. So that's, there's a lot of things out there, a lot of, great benefits to, you could get the car, pretty much I have my own host. I can text him anytime he gives me his number. If I want a meal or, at the steakhouse or one of the lower level restaurants, or if I want a room, a suite, it's never a regular room anymore. It's always an upgraded suite, you know what I mean? And if I don't want to drive, if I want to have a few drinks while I'm at dinner, they'll be more than happy to send a limo for me, and take me home too. So there's and then when, you start getting into those higher levels, like when I'm in the high limits room now if I go to different casinos, like on the Strip, if you get a hold of a host there and you, let's say that, you tell them that you're going to wire in a certain amount of money to the cage, then you don't even have to be a player at that casino or a part of their reward center. But if you, wire in a certain amount of money, I'm not talking about no $20,000, $30,000, but maybe 5,000 or whatever, they'll treat you like a prince, a king or a queen. It's pretty much they roll out the red carpet for you right when you arrive. They're right there at the door, right when the limo driver opens the door for you, shake your hand, everything. It's amazing.
I was going to ask you, with all your wins, if you used a player's card, and I assume so, but I wanted to ask you about that and what the experience was like, because I found the whole experience with hosts to be, what was kind of like, so what's it like to have a personal assistant?
Yeah, that's basically what it is.
Yeah, and I'm like, I really ought to try to use you more. Yeah. But I was too nice, and they treat you like a rock star. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So between the host that I have, and then there's different casino employees at the board gaming property that I go to. You don't always have to go to the host if you want a meal, or if you want some movie tickets, or anything like that. I'm a smoker. I smoke cigarettes. I wish I didn't, but I'm almost pretty much done now, where I used to be a 2-pack a day smoker, and now I'm down to like a half a pack, which is great. But I don't even pay for cigarettes anymore. I'll go to the casino and they'll comp my cigarettes for me, every time I go in. But I don't have to go to a host, is what I'm saying. I can go to the slot attendants, different slot attendants that I have. They can go give me the comp for the dinner, or different shift boss that I know that work at different, the one shift boss, he's a really good friend of mine. He works the graveyard shift, and he's pretty much like the casino, the top casino manager, the head honcho there for that night, on the graveyard shift. But for Christmas, there's two slot techs, and then there's the shift boss, and then the host, and I got all of them in an envelope. And, I put some cash in there and a gift card and everything. But, when you're winning the kind of money like that, you can do those kind of things. You know what I mean? Just to show a token of your appreciation. and they were just, it was like they were blown back, from that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yes. So, so a lot of people, I guess, really don't do that, but
it's nice that it's nice that you've chosen to do so. When you get to be so close with these casino employees, they almost become like family. They show you photos of theirs, and this is a new baby, this is a Cincinnati casino. So the baby was dressed as a football player. I mean, as a Bengals outfit, because the whole family was Bengals fans. And it's just like, I'm sitting there going, I want to listen, but this is the time when I usually win $10,000. But no, go on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, priceless memory. I don't even remember the $10,000 win, but I remember the little baby in a Bengals outfit.
Yeah. And then the nice thing is that you get to know them on a personal level like that, and then like you said, they almost become like family. And then there's one lady there. She's going to be retiring this month, at the end of this month, after 35 years. And she's almost like a grandma to me, in a way. She kind of gives me that kind of sense, and always gives me a hug right when she sees me. And if she hasn't seen me in a while, she's like, where have you been? Kind of thing. Like, I was worried, it's, she's a really, really nice lady, and everything. And, it's just, she'll actually point out the machines that she thinks that I should go play, and, I don't really know if that's,
you take it under advisement. You take it under advisement, and maybe you told her a few things about what you're looking for.
Exactly.
A lot of slot attendants will say, well, this is what you need to play. And it's like, really? I like to evaluate what slot attendants say. They'll say, this is the winning machine. And I'll say, why do you think so? And when was this? What night was that? What time was this win? And was it the one on the end of the row, or is the next one in? They're all identical, but they're not. And so I will, not interrogate them. But
oh no, of course not. But like you said, take it under advisement and really just take a step back and look at it, and what you think. But from what she's, told me and everything, it's not always going to work for me. It never has always worked for me, but it's, probably a little less than 50-50. You know what I mean? And it's some of the games that she points out, it's not even interesting to me. You know what I mean?
You're saying it's 50-50, and there's the podcast listeners like, I'll take those odds.
Yeah. Well, it's a little less than 50-50, I would say. It's basically with the machines that she tells me or that she recommends. Sometimes I don't like, I don't really like those games. Like I saw a picture of one of your jackpots. You were playing that cash balls machine.
Yes.
Yeah, and see, I see people winning on those, but when I sit down and play, I can't get any luck on them or anything.
The machine is of the type that wants you to stay. And I feel the manipulation, and I'm just like, we are not in a relationship. It's not, I'm breaking up with you and I need to let you go. And that analogy. Well, I want to thank you for your time. You've been very fun to talk to the several times that we've talked together. I wish you well on your slots journey. Of course, if you have any questions, and I see you on the live stream, thanks for buying the course. Good luck to you, and let me know if I can help.
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate it, and thank you very much. And I'll be letting you know for sure.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Improve your slots play with my 30 days to play slots smarter and win. You'll get lifetime access, a free copy of my book, Learning to Win, and spreadsheet templates for slots record keeping for income tax preparation purposes and gameplay analysis. Plus 1 month free membership to my Slots Enthusiast Growth Network, where you'll get community support and accountability. 30 Days to Play Slots Smarter and Win is discounted at 50% off for a $100 savings. Be sure to use that discount before it goes away. Visit ProfessorSlots.com/30days to learn more about this well-received course, including a full description of its contents, as well as testimonials. For your convenience, that website link is in the episode description. The next episode of the Professor Slots podcast will include a relevant slots topic, along with a delightful conversation with another slots enthusiast from my online course. If you have questions about your own slots play, you can ask them several ways, including 3 live stream Q&A sessions I'm now offering free on YouTube each week. These live streams are on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, and Saturdays at noon Eastern at youtube.com/ProfessorSlots. Each session is 2 hours long, so that gives you a good idea of how many questions need answering. Longtime listeners will recall that I used to provide these Q&A sessions as podcast episodes, but no longer. But you are still welcome to join in on YouTube. That's the end of another great episode of the Professor Slots podcast. Thanks so much for listening. I plan to have the next episode come out very soon for you, where I'll have more amazing content for the show. Until the next episode, have fun, be safe, and make good choices. Bye.